there are some men out here, Muslim men, who they choose not to go hard and make that money.
Yeah.
And therefore they say, well, you know what? It's okay for me and my wife to go 50-50.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, now they've given up the provider.
Yeah.
Now they're basically like, the woman's a provider as well.
Astaghfirullah.
You know, or they get to the point where they're not providing anything.
Yeah.
And then they're over here depending on their woman, and the woman's paying for everything.
Why are so many Muslim men today not financially savvy?
I think because they're comfortable. Because they're comfortable and they are focusing primarily on the akhirah, which there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we should definitely be learning more about the deen, about Islam and all this, but when you focus primarily on the akhirah, then you forget the dunya, and there should always be a balance, you know. And if you get married as a man, if you have a wife, I'm over here looking at the camera, like looking at the people in their souls. No, you should be looking at y'all. I'm talking to y'all, right? So if you're a man, you get married, then part or possibly the thing that might bring you into Jannah is your wife
100%.
or your kids.
And vice versa.
Yeah. So, okay, as a man, like Ramis said, money doesn't make a man, but a man should make money. Right? So, if your job as a man is to be the provider, how you going to do that with no money?
Yeah.
If the woman that you have, your wife, is an opportunity for you to go to Jannah if you actually take care of her and fulfill her rights, how you going to do that if you're not making any money? Right? Like, how you gonna feed her if you're not making any money? How you gonna feed yourself? How you gonna feed your kids? How you gonna take care of your family?
Yeah.
You know, like, how can you do anything substantial in this world if you don't have money? And maybe I'm ignorant in saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, 100, not 100% you're ignorant, but 100% to your point.
Like, yo.
Yeah, 100%
No.
you jahil.
100% to your point. I do want to jump in here and kind of clear something up. I can't speak on you guys' behalf, right? I'm pretty sure we'll be on the same page, inshallah. I'm not talking about people who are not super wealthy. I'm not super wealthy. I'm not talking about people who are poor. I'm talking about people who are not go-getters, who are not hard workers, people who maybe they grew up very comfortable, like you mentioned, in life, and they don't focus on expanding their avenues to make more money. That's what I'm mainly focusing on.
And I see that, and that's what I'm trying to get at too.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, maybe I'm ignorant here, maybe I'm just not explaining it correctly, but there are some men out here, Muslim men, who they choose not to go hard and make that money.
Yeah.
And therefore they say, well, you know what? It's okay for me and my wife to go 50-50.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, now they've given up the provider.
Yeah.
Now they're basically like, the woman's a provider as well.
Astaghfirullah.
You know, or they get to the point where they're not providing anything.
Yeah.
And then they're over here depending on their woman, and the woman's paying for everything.
We're not against women working with context and a woman having her own money, of course, because that is un-Islamic to say otherwise. But what we are saying is most women love to feel secure, and security is extremely important to women. It's not the money in and of itself that a woman wants you to have, but it's the symbol of security, trust, reliance that women are lacking today, bro. This whole revolution on women wanting to be independent is because they couldn't trust the man for whatever means, whether he couldn't provide, he couldn't protect. So I need to go do this XYZ myself. I need to go spread my wings outside the house just so I can feel more secure. I need to take everything into my own hands when Allah has made it a man's responsibility to do so. A'udhu billah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do we get started with this? How is a man today who's, let's say, 14, 15? Because, of course, we're going to talk to the kids that are the older teenagers and all that too. But I do want to start to people today, at least chronologically, because I want to be the change that I didn't have growing up in terms of at least podcasts and YouTube, obviously, because back then we were watching stupid stuff on like YTV and all that and SpongeBob and all that. But see, back then you have 13, 14-year-olds today. SubhanAllah, there are young kids watching us, right?
Yeah.
What should they do? What do you guys think as kids that are still living on money in terms of just habits they should start building?
I would say first and foremost, actually, I would say everything, and also business endeavors. It doesn't start with business and practicing business and learning and so on and so forth. It starts with Islam. Every single thing will start with Islam. Yeah, even understand business from an Islamic perspective, the fiqh of it, halal, haram, and fix those affairs and your affairs with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost. Because only then can you really say that you have the right intention, you're going about it the right way, and inshallah, Allah will set you up for success. So learn what business is from an Islamic perspective. Learn the context of business. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very beautiful. He says in Surah Jumu'ah, He says, when the adhan is called for Friday prayer, go and basically pray, right? I'm paraphrasing a bit, and the translation as well. Go and pray. But once the prayer is concluded, go out and seek the bounty of Allah, right? Actually, let me correct myself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specifically says, leave trade and go and pray, right? He says, stop business, stop trade.
Put it on pause.
Yeah, and then go pray. And then once it's done, come back and seek the bounty of Allah, or go out and seek the bounty of Allah in the world. So we should have the same context, that we're doing business until it's time to pray. Fulfill our obligations, right? Do what we need to do for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it might have to do with our families as well, right? Obligations towards our families, ourselves, our loved ones, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so on and so forth, and then go out and seek the bounty of Allah. And I'm going to give the floor to you guys to talk more so about what comes after that.
See, bro, what you said reminds me of when I went to Saudi Arabia for Umrah, and then I went to UAE as well. Things are different there, bro. When it's time, see, wallahi, it pains me to get DMs from brothers and sisters today saying I have a job and it's a good income job that I'm going to take on, inshallah, and it's going to require me to miss Asr or Dhuhr prayer, or I'm going to hit all of them except Maghrib. What should I do? And it reminds me of when I went to Saudi, and subhanallah, bro, when it's time for Salah, all the stores have a barricade, a gate, restaurants, everything just goes on pause. As soon as the adhan is called, all the stores close. Just like you said, trade stops. Mm-hmm. And storekeepers start walking to the masjid. People outside that are cleaners start walking to the masjid. Everyone that works at a fast food place starts going to the masjid. And they pray. And things cannot open and resume back to business until 30 minutes after the adhan was called. Meaning that not only do you go and pray, it's enough time for people that are not near a masjid to go to a masjid. And you come back and you resume like nothing happened. Mm-hmm. Because nothing revolves around work, bro. Everything revolves around salah and taqwa, keeping Allah in mind. So that's one thing I wanted to just touch on your point. But a practical point that I'll give.
The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that the bridge between belief and disbelief is abandoning salah. If you're struggling with your salah right now, well, we got the perfect solution for you.
And that solution is the Adhan app. This cell phone, we usually have it and it's using us instead of us using it. But with the Adhan app, you can use it in perfect alignment with your life.
The Adhan app is already used by 40 million believers around the world. Why? Because it caters to your Islamic lifestyle. On top of the salat times, you get du'as, dhikr, the Islamic calendar, Ramadan calendar, suhoor and iftar times, Hajj and Umrah guide, Qibla finder, and much more for free.
So download the Adhan app now.